What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Happy Wednesday. Hope all is well. Hope you've had a fantastic week so far. Today's video, we're going to talk about some pointers for first-time home buyers looking out there, striking out on the market, and a seller's market at that. And my last video, we talked about June is home ownership month. So these videos this month are going to be geared towards home ownership. Helping you get a home, helping you get on the right track, just informational videos.
I knew exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do.
Helping out people in those kind of terms. And it's everyone's American dream. Everyone wants to own their own home. Everyone wants to have a little piece of paradise to go to. Their escape from the world. The white picket fence, the big backyard, a pool, hot tub, jacuzzi, finished basement, home office, whatever it is. We all have that dream of home ownership and what that looks like to us.
I hope so.
Okay. It's the American dream. So, I'm going to give you some pointers in this video if you're a first-time home buyer. So far, all of the buyers I've worked with have been first-time home buyers, and I'm proud to say that I've been able to get them all done and the deal's closed, even if there are some complications thrown in a seller's market at that. I've been able to get all my first-time home buyers in a home, and the deals stay together. And if you follow these pointers, stick to them, the home ownership and home buying process will be as least stressful as it possibly can, because it's going to be stressful, don't get me wrong.
No. Terrible.
But the goal is to decrease and minimize the stress levels as much as you can. So first and foremost, the first thing you always want to do is to make sure you're pre-approved. Make sure you actually qualify to be a homeowner.
What do you mean by that?
Or make sure you qualify to be approved for a loan through the home ownership. And there's several ways you can go about that. Your realtor, me, hopefully, will have 2 or 3, 4 guys. I work with 3 or 4 guys myself in the loan industry, all different companies, and they kind of all different price points, loan situations, whatever the case may be. I got guys that will, work with you to repair your credit. I got guys you have to have a certain credit for them to even touch you. I'm very excited to announce that I just started a relationship with a guy who can do I-10 loans. So if you don't have a Social Security card, but you have an I-10 number, I can now get you approved and get you done depending on what your financial situation looks like outside of your Social Security number.
5. Oh, 10 coming back. I think I just doubled your investment. Whoop.
So I'm very excited about that. So if you have an I-10 and you don't think you can get approved, please contact me today about that. But regardless, I have a loan or mortgage guy that fits your needs, regardless of what your needs is, and we can help work that out. So reach out for me today if you want to do that. But back to it, you have to get pre-approved. You go there, you give them all your information, you give them, pay stubs, your credit history, they run your credit, all those kind of things, and they tell you if you are approved and what you're approved up to, which is very important. It's very important because, one, you don't want to waste your time, your realtor's time, or anyone else's time on looking at homes you can't afford. You're not approved for homes that are way out of your budget. And, whenever you put an offer on a home, the listing realtor is also always going to want a pre-approval.
You suck.
A letter from the loan company or credit union that you're approved with saying, hey, this guy qualifies or this girl qualifies for this home. She can buy this home. He can buy this home, whatever the case may be. And that's very important. That's the first step. That's always the first step, is making sure you actually can qualify to get a mortgage and then knowing that price. The second thing is you want to sit down and make a list of your absolute needs and your things that you can live without. Always stick to that list. Sit down and even talk it over with your realtor, because your realtor is going to know what the market is like in your area and if your needs are realistic for your price. You might have to give a little on those. But once you've finished it, you went over it a couple times on a rough draft, you have your final copy, you stick to that list, your needs and your wants. You stick to that list during the home buying process, especially in a seller's market, because you don't have room to be picky in a seller's market. You have to stick to your needs and your wants that you started out with. And again, go over it with your realtor. Make sure that you're being realistic with your price and what you can afford, and that your needs are going to be able to be in those homes, because you might have to wiggle a little bit. And, that's not a terrible thing, because you can always have room down the road to, once you get in the home, the experts are again projecting the market to keep, ascending. They are projecting it to keep rising, home prices to keep rising over the next couple of years. So there's a good chance you're going to end up with equity in your home if you buy it sooner rather than later. And what happens with that is then you can take out a home equity line of credit or a cash out refi, and you can go back and add things to your home that you wanted, that was on your want list when you first initially started buying. So another thing to always think about too is do your finances. Sit down, write out a budget, what all your bills are going to be. Your credit guy, your mortgage guy, loan guy, whatever you want to call them, they'll be able to give you a rough estimate of what your monthly payment is looking like based on the price point and estimated taxes on that home. When you finally get it done, you add that in there, you estimate everything, and you make sure you have a healthy room, a healthy gap between what you make and what your bills are going to be. Because the worst thing ever, even if you have a house you absolutely love, if it was your dream home, you're going to die there, you're never going to move, it's the house you want to be in forever. Even if that's the case, if your bills are too close to what you make, your income, and you're what they call house poor, where you can't go out and have dinner with your significant other, you can't take the kids to the movies, you can't go out and go to concerts, you can't do all those things. That's called house poor, when you just your finances are so tight that all you can do is stay home.
Dog shit.
That's a terrible and miserable way to live, and you won't be happy. Even if it's your dream home, you're not going to be happy living like that. So make sure you sit down also and do the finances and find a nice healthy gap between what your expenses are going to be and what you make, because things pop up too. A car could go wrong, something with the house could go wrong, you have to fix. Unexpected expenses happen. So you have to give a nice little gap so you don't end up being house poor. The next thing to realize is right now it's still a seller's market. I did do a video a week or two ago about the market shifting a little bit, and that's still true. But the market was such a seller's market that even though it's shifting a little bit, it's still way in favor of the seller. It hasn't shifted to a buyer yet. So you got to keep that in mind. Homes that have just been listed, that have only been on the market for a couple of days, if you love it, you're going to have to be aggressive. You're going to have to go over ask. You're going to have a quick closing date. You're going to have a good hefty deposit, escrow check.
Brother, this guy stinks!
To show that you're really serious. You're not going to back out for a stupid reason, anything like that. You might have to waive repairs maybe to a certain amount, like $3,000 or $4,000 per repair or something like that. I don't know, but it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. Obviously, it's all going to depend on how much other offers are on the house, how aggressive you're going to have to be to get your home. People always ask me, what should I pay for this home? What should I do about this home? At the end of the day, if you love your home, if you love the home, if you're like, this is the home I have to have, within reason, obviously, you don't want to be upside down in a home, and I'll explain what that is. But go get it. If that's the home you're like, when you walk in, most of the time I've figured out with the people I've done, deals with, is when I show them a home, they walk in. The moment they walk in, they know it's the home. They know they've already envisioned it being their home. They can instantly know it's their home, and vice versa. They can instantly know it's not their home. So obviously you want to be kind of smart, because you don't want to end up upside down in a home. And what that means is that you owe more on the home than what you can sell the home for, and that's when the market goes up or down, because there's things in place like the home has to appraise for a certain value, it has to appraise for the sales price, or you have to make up the difference if you want to buy the home once you've got it under contract. But so that kind of protects you right there as it is. But of course, the market could always change. It could appraise today. If the market crashes in a year or two, you could still be upside down in your home. So you always want to be careful with that. Again, that's why it's important to have a real estate professional that knows what they're doing and knows how to guide you and cares more than just about their paycheck. They care about each individual client and making sure they're doing the right thing by their client as well. There's another thing that's going to be very stressful is the home inspection. When you do a home inspection, you get that report. Usually it's 20, 25 pages thick. It's a complete breakdown, complete rundown on your home. And you're going to see a lot of things on there. And, first-time home buyer, especially a young first-time home buyer, is going to be completely overwhelmed. it's an overwhelming feeling looking at all these things your home that you want to buy, that you've put an offer in that was accepted, needs. But it's important to understand is there's no such thing as a perfect home. There isn't. It just doesn't exist. A year and a half ago, I sold a $500,000, $500,000 new construction that had never been lived in. And even then, the home inspector came back and there was 4 or 5 things on the list that needed to be done. Small things, nothing big, but regardless, there's no such thing as a perfect home because, humans build them and we're imperfect people. We're imperfect beings. So a perfect home just doesn't exist, end of story. So don't be overwhelmed. The important thing is to focus on the big things like the roof, the HVAC system, the air conditioning, mold, those kind of things. Those are the important things to focus on. Little things like, a nick in the wall, maybe a window doesn't shut the right way, maybe a light switch doesn't work, those kind of things. That's all normal, typical home ownership. That's part of being a homeowner. If you're not ready for that, you're not ready to buy. But again, there's big things to focus on. Foundational issues, the roof, those kind of things. Those are the big things you want to look over on your report and make sure those are all on the up and up, and you're not going to be footing a huge bill in a couple years. If you're in an area where it's not city well and septic, you always want to get a well and septic inspection as well. Make sure those are on the up and up, because that's a huge financial burden if you move into a home and then in a year or two you have to put a well or septic in, or both. Again, this is just an initial little thing, some informational purposes for first-time home buyers. If you're a first-time home buyer or you're thinking about entering the market and finally buying a home, you want to know where you stand, please reach out today. Please reach out to me again. I've gotten, all my buyers so far in this market have been, in my 2 years of being a licensed realtor, all my buyers have been first-time home buyers. I've gotten them done. I'd like to think as least stressful as possible. I'd like to think the transactions are pretty smooth. They all gave me great reviews on Zillow. So again, I can help you. I've done it. I can navigate this market for you. If you're a first-time home buyer, you're worried about getting into the market because it's a seller's market, or you haven't been successful, please reach out to me today. Let's get you started. Let's get you going. Let's get you your dream home. And again, let's make your American dream come true and not turn it into an American nightmare. So until then, as always, buy, sell, invest. If you're looking for solar panels, contact me today. I'm your guy. And until next time, I'll see you then.